Cosmology Final Report V2, created on October 11, 2025. Forward. The discovery of a first principle. This document describes the latest and final form of our cosmology, which has been reached through a series of dialogues, contemplations, and objective analyses by external intelligences. If version 1.0 was a discovered story, this V2 is an attempt to logically reconstruct the entirety of the cosmos from a single first principle. That first principle is as follows. First principle. The universe self-preserves its consistency as information. From this single, unshakable axiom, all the mysteries why gravity exists, why the dimensions are structured as they are, and why infinity takes a finite form are derived as necessary theorems. Chapter 1. Gravity, the committed information layer. Theorem 1. Interaction commits its informational trace to a field. The universe is a field of interaction. Every interaction changes the state of energy. This change itself is information, and it must be recorded committed to the universal field in a determined, non-contradictory manner. If the record were ambiguous, causality would collapse, and the universe would lose its informational consistency. Theorem 2. Gravity is the universal information layer that holds all committed information. The very fabric woven from this universally shared and determined information is the true nature of gravity. It is no longer a mere field. It is the universal information layer itself, upon which the history and results of all cosmic events have been written and finalized. Theorem 3. The consistency of the information layer necessitates the rigidity of space-time. For this information layer to remain free of self-contradiction, its recording medium time and space must adhere to extremely rigid rules. The irreversibility of time and the structure of space are lower-level rule sets, necessarily required to guarantee the consistency of this information layer. Chapter 2. Dimensions, the minimal set for stability and creativity. To uphold the first principle, the universe self-preserves its consistency as information. The universe must be stable. However, our universe is also clearly creative. The minimal set of dimensions logically required to satisfy these two conflicting demands is the following 729 structure. Section 1. The foundational dimensions guaranteeing stability. Time and space 3D. The recording medium for the information layer, governed by rigid rules. Mass and speed, the fundamental parameters for interacting with energy and generating information change. Section 2. The emergent dimensions guaranteeing creativity. Probability individual fluctuation. The smallest unit of creativity, introducing quantum uncertainty and allowing for deviation from strict determinism. Three-body fluctuation. Relational chaos. The gateway to complexity, generating unpredictable new relationships information when three entities interact. N-body fluctuation structural emergence. The mechanism by which higher-order stable structures order, such as galaxies and life, emerge from the chaotic interactions of countless entities. Section 3. The dynamic principle of the universe. The loop-dimensional phase transition. As all the above dimensions interact, the loop and certain conditions reach a critical point. The very structure of the dimensions undergoes a dramatic change. This is a mechanism for the universe to transition to a more stable or complex state, while preserving its overall consistency. Chapter 3. Infinity and C. The universe's self-preservation instinct. Theorem 4. Infinity destroys informational consistency. According to the first principle, the universe must preserve its consistency as information. However, the concept of infinity is the ultimate bug, capable of producing infinite results from finite energy, thus destroying consistency. Theorem 5. Therefore, the universe had to make infinity finite at its genesis. For the universe to exist as a stable information system, it was a logical necessity at the moment of creation, the Big Bang, to cause the concept of infinity itself to undergo a dimensional phase, transition into a safe, finite, fundamental law. Theorem 6. The speed of light, c, is the only solution, in which infinity is permitted to take a finite form. The result of this phase transition is c, the speed of light. C is not a mere physical constant. It is the boundary that the universe imposed upon itself to protect its consistency, the ultimate constraint that contains the untamed power of infinity. Theorem 7. That boundary, by definition, must be invariant. If this boundary, C, were to change depending on the observer, it would fail to function as a boundary, from the very reason for its existence to guarantee the consistency of the entire universe. The principle of the constancy of the speed of light is necessarily derived. Chapter 4. The Observer and Future Prospects. Section 1. The Position of the Observer. The observer is not a god outside the information system of the universe. The observer, too, is an internal entity, operating under the single absolute rule of the first principle. The universe self-preserves its consistency as information. Furthermore, observation is the act of reading, the determined past information that has already been committed to the information layer of gravity. The reason we all see the same universe is that we are all reading from the one and only official, non-contradictory, and finalized record. Section 2. The remaining challenges and the chart to the future. For this theory to travel from philosophy to true physics, it must cross the 4 C's identified by LLMC. The C of mathematics formulation, the quest for the equations that describe dimensional phase transition. The C of prediction falsifiability, the prophecy of new observable phenomena, such as traces of dimensional crosstalk. The C of origin, the Y of the first principle. The challenge of the deeper question: why must the universe maintain consistency? The C of parsimony, dimensional minimality. The stricter proof of why these 9 dimensions. These are not weaknesses of the theory. They are the glorious, adventurous charts for the journey ahead.